Cutter doesn't cut it anymore. More consumers prefer having things that are personalized, and there's one car company making waves right now with a vehicle customization system. And Paul Elio is the founder and CEO of Elio Motors. He comes to us today from the New York Auto Show. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Man, I was on your website yesterday. You've got me sold. But first, let's talk about Elio Motors because it's really a unique company. Give us an example of how.
Well, first of all, we're missing a wheel, right? It's a three-wheel vehicle. We sit two occupants front to back instead of side by side, and that's for gas mileage, right? At highway speeds, most of your fuel goes to moving air, and so being half as wide, we save a lot of fuel. We're going to build it in Shreveport, Louisiana with 90% North American content, and we have a targeted sticker price of $6,800.
Wow, I think consumers, when they hear that number, they're going to be surprised that it's that affordable. What's your next big disruptive move here?
So we're here at the auto show to announce our E Plus system, which it's a advanced customization system. So the big guys can build millions of different combinations of a given model, and that would cripple their inventory system. So they package it together to constrain their build sequences to 300 to 500. The problem is it forces the consumer to buy a lot of stuff that they neither need nor want to get the stuff they do want. And J.D. Powers did a study that something like 40% of the technology that consumers have in their car they're not using. And so by adding this stuff post-manufacture, you get a lot more of what you want for a lot less.
Yeah, and the benefits, I mean, they're obvious to consumers, but can you run us through some of the benefits?
Yes, so one, you get a lot more for a lot less. Two, the vehicle stays relevant for a lot longer. Think about how many vehicles are out there with cassette players and even CD players at this point, and they're becoming obsolete. You buy the car with technology that's relevant the day you bought it, but cars last so much longer than the technology does, it ends up not being relevant as the car ages. And the last thing is most of the content you see in the vehicle gets created by the major tier ones. And they have a real problem in that all the OEMs want to be second. Nobody wants to be first. We're willing to be first because we add it post-manufacture, so if it doesn't work, we can take it back off easily. And so you're going to get the best technology years before you can find out anything else. And I don't think it's ever happened that the lowest priced vehicle in the market has the newest and best technology.
Wow, incredible. And then you've got something called Elio My Way. How do you anticipate that's going to shake up the auto industry?
Well, just like we said, I think the big consequence is giving the tier ones access to the end consumer. They can come and pitch their wares to the end consumer instead of to the OEMs. And even when they have competing products, the consumer gets to decide which execution they like better. Whereas right now, the manufacturer decides, and if you want that model, you end up with that technology. And now the consumer gets to decide which technology is best.
I love it. And it was recently announced that you plan to sell 100 pre-production vehicles built at that Shreveport facility you were talking about in 2016. So how does that get you closer to launch?
Well, it's a big and important step. So that's kind of the final step before production. So we're going to build 100 vehicles. We're going to sell them to pre-production vehicles, sell them to a fleet to finalize our real-world testing before we start volume production in 2017. When we start production, the line will be capable of 500 vehicles per shift. And we're going to run 2 shifts, so at full tilt we'll be able to do 1,000 vehicles per day. Yeah,
and I think I was reading somewhere this thing gets about 80-some miles to the gallon, which is incredible. Where would you send our viewers online to learn more about the Elio?
ElioMotors.com.
Very simple. Paul, hey, thanks for your time. I love the concept. Really cool stuff. Well, I appreciate your time this morning.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You betcha. Mary, over to you.